Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Arstria Grand Prix. First things first, I'm going to show off some of the more simple strats, but also a few which might be a bit tricky, and might be a bit too hard for newcomers, but I'll explain them nonetheless. First things first is that we've got our ranks over here. I've spent 72 out of 76 and got 4 promotion points remaining. The only thing for the easier strat would be to swap the Saboteur into first place and essentially do what the any percent route does. But here we're going to do a slightly more advanced first turn in this tutorial. So here we go. I'll just show, if this was a Saboteur, this guy would typically walk down here, jump onto these little islands, go over here, equip a mine, place on this tree, equip a TNT and place on this tree. Then with the retreat time left, this pig would then go to rest in a final position, which is actually going to be near this tree over here. That's where another pig is, and we're going to get another pig to pop out and place a TNT near this tree to damage him. There's 2 different positions which you can move to, and I'll just show that now. So this is just the simple route, as if you were the Saboteur. You'd place the TNT, and then you'd go somewhere over here. So in the simple route, I just see it as I see these diagonal pixels here, sort of telling me roughly where to finish. So that, to me, they're just telling me, hey, go here. And that's close enough to get the TNT to damage this pig the most, and for our pig to be blown to safety. So yeah, I can test that now by, even though I didn't place the mine or do a jetpack, this guy will take one little turn and then another one and rest here. So we can control this pig with our position, and then we slide down. So that's the easy setup. Now I'm going to try to explain the really hard setup, but before I do that, I'm also just going to simply get over to this island again. This isn't the move that I would do to get over here. I'll re-explain that in a second. Because this very position is really hard to explain at speed. So really all I can do is say, like, this blob here is telling me roughly where to finish my turn. I think I should be a tiny bit further right here in a second, but we'll see if this would get the strat we're hoping for. Is that when this guy then puts a TNT, he's going to bounce us into the tree and we're going to be redirected behind ourselves. If we're ever so slightly out of position, we go over the tree like that. So I quite possibly need to be a little bit further right. And that's why this particular strat is going to be hard to explain. Especially as you have to do this position whilst your TNT fuse will be running out. There we go. I just went a little bit further right, and we got completely rebounded um, somewhere. We'll always be somewhere along here, typically between here and here somewhere, depending on how far forwards you are or backwards to the tree. Um, that has set up our turn where later on, when this pig goes to take a turn, they will come and TNT us and back themselves up onto uh, the mess. Um, if we're doing the simple one with the 80%, which just has the saboteur, we don't end up getting position here because we ended up falling down the mountain here, and we'll have to then later, on a later turn, come and reposition a pig here. Now, that's the end of turn one. Let me, oh yes, I need to, yes, it'll only allow me to interact with this whilst I'm on the normal cursor. So here's the beginning of turn one, and this first turn is to equip a jetpack, walk over here, turn, and I think roughly you kind of just want to line yourself up from this diagonal to this diagonal, just on the edge of this square. That should take us on the path past to the tree. But and then we're going to have a really kind of tricky jettison of the jetpack to knock the pig out of the tree whilst not hitting ourselves. So hopefully I've got the right angle, and we go really late, and there we go. Then we're going to do that thing where I put the TNT here, and then you have to try and get to that position within that time. Which hopefully I got it. If so, I'll set a save state, but I am possibly in the right position. And I was. So there we go. I can continue the tutorial. Just going to put save state here. Okay, turn 2 now. And we barely have any time on this turn. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to explain when I drop down next to the shelter there, I'm going to equip a shrapnel. This is to give us a little bit more time on our clock. So I equip down there because the game is lagging the least down there. And then when I get to this bit of path, I'm actually going to start charging up my shrapnel. And that's because I'll reach the next slippery surface before I finish charging up this weapon. This will pause the timer for a small amount of time and give us more time. There we go. In case we need extra time, because we're going to make a tricky jump across this water, place a mine, and then do a super shotgun. That was a bit of a weak jump here. Next thing to explain is the wall climb. We've got some slippery surfaces, like this is all slippery, this is all slippery, anywhere up to here, and this tile up here. These are completely walkable, these two tiles. So we're going to jump between these two. You can always tell because it's the bigger green circle here. Oh, arrow. So there we go. Now, hopefully I've got enough time. I've given myself a bit more time. It's a bit more tricky to do whilst doing the tutorial. is I need to equip mine uh, and essentially knock this commando right next to the other commandos that's standing behind this mess. If you can get this guy to be right next to his other friend, the next one will not move, which is crucial for us. So, as I run out of time, probably I might need to reload that state in a sec. We'll go all the way over here. I'm gonna need to do this quick. I'll walk past here, equip a super shotgun all the way down to here, aim it up a tiny bit, and there's loads of places over here. All of this is an instant kill, so much of it. So you just need to angle up a small amount on the meter, get to this guy, and just shoot him up here. Whilst that was happening, the mine should have gone off, and I'm hoping I've knocked the two pigs together. They need to be quite close. No, I failed because he slipped down. That should be better. Now they're both together in this tutorial. Hopefully he should just turn and do one of two things, the cluster or a bazooka. I'm not sure how to control one. It could just be random as to which one he picks. Right, turn number 3. Because we did the tricky turn with getting rebounded from the tree, we can actually throw our next cluster from this island that we're on. If we did the simple one, all we'd need to do is jetpack across to that island where the enemies are and roughly position ourselves where our current other hero is. If we was doing the simple one, you'd get to choose exactly, but you're really just choosing the place where our current guy is now, over here. Yeah, so that was on the edge of this sort of brown square and trying to back them up into this mess. Now that our hero's already over there and we're on the hard one, we're going to just equip a cluster and aim it behind this, not this tree here, but the one tree behind it, which has the other commando in. Then we're going to do a slow tap cluster to let all the bombs drop down, and that knocks that guy over the other side of this mess. You can be charging this weapon up by now, but I've kind of messed up on this tutorial with all the pausing. All we're going to do is, we know that the grenade comes out of our left hand, so when we try to line up this tree, we're just kind of facing this tree directly, so we know the grenade's going to travel slightly along the left to it. And boom, that was too close. But I'll do this entire turn again, because here, so we'll get to roughly here, start charging it up. And I've gone too close to the tree. Nope. But I'm going to do that again in this tutorial. That wasn't enough damage. And I'm not going to be cutting it, which is unfortunate. So you have to see every mistake. Okay, on top is usually fine. It's not ideal. I normally drop him in front. So now this pig is going to do that and back himself up towards that mess. Let me save this. Okay, now the final turn, hopefully. And all we need now to do is an airstrike. So we'll do that. Here we go. So whilst I pause that, essentially we're going to point roughly to where the corner of this sort of mess is, just a tiny bit away from it. Fortunately, both of these are grouped. Kung Fu 106, he can be 105 sometimes. Really, we're kind of hoping here. Also, the tail end is just lined up with both of these pigs. The placement is something like this. I might even pull this airstrike back a tiny bit further closer to these two. But the goal here is to hopefully get every single pig in the water to drown. If they all drown on the same cycle, all of the medals that drop from destroying these two messes and the crate that drops per enemy death is all going to happen in one cycle, which saves, well, it takes about 6 seconds per pig if they all die on land, because they'll have to do an animation, then drop their box, and then the next one, and then the next one. If we can get them all in the water or to instantly be killed by an explosion, all that will happen in one cycle. So I'm just going to try this. I've got a save state in case I need to do it again. And this is one of the more tricky levels to get right. Hopefully everyone is in the water and dead. One is on the land. Hopefully he's dead. He is. Okay, so that was the triple water kill. Maybe I could have got the quad water kill, but that's a very hard level to explain. And hopefully I did an okay job. That's it for mission 21. I'll include links towards the any percent, which is a much easier route, which essentially does the same thing, just with the slightly different first turn. Okay, time for mission 22 now. So this is the lineup which I would have used, well, I did use for mission 21 as I've done a run. All we'd need to do here is swap the bottom pig for the top one. And then go into level. That's it. Double saboteur. For the only consistent strat that we've found in this level. There's every other strat is essentially inconsistent, but potentially faster. Also, this strat is is actually quite hard, and it's going to be hard to explain whilst doing this tutorial actually. So I'll try my best again, but after this level, the final 3 are actually very simple. So here we go. Here we go. First things first, we're going to walk all the way here, go past our own pig, quit mine to turn our own other pig around, walk up this cliff, past this box, and just place the mine a couple of tiles away from the enemy. Now, I'm also going to be pausing the timer by charging this weapon up, same as in mission 21. And then as I reach about 3/4 power, I'm actually going to turn and walk down this slippery surface. I want to kind of go down this slope as vertically as possible, because if I try to take too much of a diagonal line, my pig will slip and we won't make it to the artillery. Then once I get onto this kind of white texture again, I'm going to start immediately charging up as I drop down the next cliff. We need all of the time we can get on this turn, because we're going to be right next to 0 seconds as we're charging up our final turn. So charge 3/4, drop down, charge, and then drop down. Now, I'm going to reduce the angle of my shrapnel. All I've done here is brought the meter down, so there's essentially no green pixels underneath the red arrow. So I've essentially brought that so all I can see is the arrow pixels, no green pixels. That's roughly the right angle. And in a moment, I'm going to go up to this pillbox, or artillery, sorry, turn myself around so I'm facing this way, and then charge to be no more than about here. We essentially want to charge somewhere between these two, so essentially where the green part ends. Once we've done that, I'm going to quickly count to 4 in my head, and just get my own sort of timing for when to detonate my shrapnel. The timing is only important to try to get my pig to kind of land on this tile and not slip down this cliff. If I don't slip down the cliff, the pig has a 0% chance of ever moving. Most of the time they'll skip their turn, but if you do slip down here, there's a chance this pig will go collect the crate behind the artillery and then fire that homing missile. So yeah, as I go to unpause, I'll still do the super tricky turn. So I'm turning, putting my back no more than halfway, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I did it a tiny bit too much, so I just needed to wait a tiny bit. If he moves, I'll have to do it again. I'm not sure what causes him to go get the crate. Turn 2. Equip another mine. Come up to this scout. And now I've got to essentially get the scout near my nearest hero, so somewhere down here. There's no real way to line this one up. I just kind of put the mine somewhere around here-ish, and he roughly always ends up near your hero. Depending on how close he is to the hero will depend on what that hero does. So if you're really close, that hero will do an airstrike. If you're slightly further away, he'll do a TNT. Either of them is fine for us. So as I do that, so roughly there, then turn around, start charging up, and do the same trick with pausing the timer. I go slightly to the right so I don't slip towards the box. Get that angle down and do the same thing here, except I don't have to wait for 4 seconds. I've completely ejected that guy, which is super rare. He'll most of the time be on the spot. Okay, that guy did skip turn. And now here's the next one. So I'm trying to explain this tutorial, but this guy will never normally be here. He'll normally be on the podium where his artillery was. So I'll try and explain as if he was there. So, airstrike time. So if he was there, I would essentially point this arrow so it would be matching up with the bottom corner of this X. As I'm going to have to change to move more towards this guy, I'm not sure if I'll get the 75 now, but I'll do roughly the same sort of thing just for this tutorial. So pointing there, and we want to hit both pigs. Not sure how much I'm going to do on the other one, but we're hoping for a kill on Keanu down there. Oh my god. Okay, that would be a double kill, which would actually be insane. Um, but I can't believe that was just luck. Um, and I'm probably gonna have to explain how to do that again. Or I can just show. I'll just have a link to my Arstria Grand Prix run, which actually shows how to do that turn. The guy TNT'd. He could have done an airstrike, but he did a TNT. He's now on 81. That means because he still hits himself for a bit. Now, normally the other gunner would be alive, and I'd get out an airburst, reduce the angle to so the arrow is resting on uh, this dot here, and do a full power shot. Um, so to do that, I'll just pretend he was there, I guess. Just back up a little bit. He would be somewhere around there, and that will probably finish him off. If you don't want to do that, you can just do an airstrike, because that gunner would normally be alive. Now, when this guy's on 81, it's kind of really hard to finish this off with one cluster, especially if you're facing this direction. The game is lagging really hard. So what I do now is walk around, potentially jetpack this guy for more consistency and then a cluster. But I'll try just the cluster in this tutorial for now and see what happens. But you'll see, like, once you equip, the frame rate drops until you turn around. And yeah, that was enough for 81. We have to wait for the medal to drop, and that's mission 22. I will hope to get that luck and to get that guy to eject from the second artillery, but hopefully it's kind of self-explanatory how to do that without that super lucky move. Okay, that's it for mission 22. Okay, here we go, mission 23 now. After mission 22, all we have to do now is swap all of our heroes to the first three positions. So go from here to here and here to here. All we need to do is essentially 3 airstrikes. So not much to explain right here, but let's just get straight into it then. Okay, here we go. First thing, jetpack, turn towards this cliff, and then we're going to jetpack in a sec. All we need to do is make sure we're pointing roughly up this angle. If we're facing too far this way, we'll shoot off way to the side. When it comes to this jetpack, all we need to do is jettison earlier than normal, otherwise we definitely hit ourselves. So better to just do that like that. Now, the next part is I essentially see 3 grey circles, and we're going to aim for the middle one. This particular tile kind of comes down here, and this is kind of like a downward slope. We essentially want to be on this grey part here. This will protect us from our own airstrike. Yep, so here's that little triangle. It's kind of hard, but you can kind of see it as you're walking down to it. If you go too far forwards, you'll slip, and if you to do that, I would walk to where I am in the M27, which is somewhere on this edge of the map, way behind this shelter off to the side. Now, here comes the airstrike position, and it's the only precise thing in this level. Straight down. Okay, to explain this, all this airstrike's positioning is essentially to bring this one along here and this pig along here. So I've got the tail end underneath this box and the arrow end above this box. This pig will be somewhere around here, and essentially we're going to get a line like this. Okay. Now they'll airstrike our hero and damage their own pigs for us. We should only receive 50 damage, hopefully, because we've gone slightly further down the cliff. And we'll be protected from multiple bombs, hopefully. So there we go. This next airstrike, essentially, all you need to do is line up. There'll be one on about 80 something down here. We need to kill that one. The one on 29 should blow up when this shelter blows up. And then we're just going to put this hero in like this this window of our airstrike. All we can really hope for is to try get this hero nowhere near this block. If we have to airstrike near this block, it takes forever to keep blowing up on the last turn. But somewhere around here and here should hopefully finish, well, these two pigs off. Sometimes these are grouped closer together, and then you can get the 29 to actually instantly explode this one onto this mine, but that's not going to happen here. All we can hope for is to kill off this 85 and leave this one alive. Also in the same turn, we're going to hope out to knock our hero somewhere over here, essentially, so he's this side of this hero. Let's see what happens. So, yep, just hopefully kill the 85. We should get 2 deaths. And yeah, we have to wait for a medal to drop per enemy. Our hero is right next to their hero, so they'll snipe, which is quicker than TNT. And then all we need to do is a final airstrike to finish off the 2. So yeah, they've ended near this structure, so this will take some time blowing up. But that's essentially this level done. Okay, maybe we don't have to wait for that thing to explode. It seems random whether the building wants to destroy itself. That's that. Not much more to say. On to the next one. Okay, mission 24 now. All we have to do is, after we've finished mission 23, is immediately hit start mission as soon as it's available. We don't care about our medals, and we don't need to swap any pig positions around. So, first things first, I'll try the 3-turn, which should be quite a consistent strat, but it's a bit slow compared to the overall best. So now I've got that. I'll try to explain it with the time left. All I've done is put this tail end of this airstrike marker in this V part of this X. So I've lined up the edge with the tip of these X's, and this little blob is in here. And then the other thing is to just line up the top of this X with the second pig down. If we've got our positions correct, we're going to create a few different balls. I'm just going to move that up a tiny bit because I like to leave a pixel above that second pig down. And there's our group of 4. right. And they're sort of squabbling with each other. Oh, they moved each other, I think. Okay, this guy is struggling to think. So there is a bit of RNG every now and then, but he eventually gets a shot off. Now, airstrike number 2 out of 3. All we have to do is spin this around. Yeah, so the goal of this one is to kill this one and this one, and just deal heavy damage to this group, but not enough to kill anyone or get anyone too low. I might just bring this down just a bit more because these guys look quite healthy, and it looks like they can take a slightly bigger hit. We don't need to bother with this guy up here. So I'll just bring that down. So we've still got our group of 4, and we've killed the 2, hopefully, that we needed to. This guy is a bit quicker than the first guy. Now, the final shot. What's with all the randomness? Okay, spin this all the way around. Line up here and here. So I could bring this even more in line with this group, but to be honest, if anyone instant kills, they kind of just spit out the rest, and it's kind of slow. So all I need to do is, well, kind of this guy should die no matter what. I'm just going to bring this airstrike a tiny bit more to the right. I don't want to instant kill anyone. I just want them all to rest here and hopefully all die in one cycle, where they're going to all explode together. But because I got a couple down near 20, there's a chance they'll just instantly die now. Hopefully they're all gonna... There we go. So that's the thing that makes that fast, is if you can get that group all to die within one cycle. Now, the 2-turn is super hard, but there is a lot of time to gain here. Because even the fastest one that I probably just got there, even though a few of the pigs took a little bit longer, that was fairly fast, probably like a 145. Now we're going to hopefully do a 2-turn to get roughly 130. Now, the 2-turn, we spin this around. We need that to be out of the way. So the rough idea is to point between these 2 sort of green circles underneath this pig, and to bring the airstrike to just this side of this top pyro. That's hopefully just going to create one line of pigs in a second. Let's find out. Which makes the whole 2-turn possible. There's still a lot of luck required in this 2-turn, which is why it's hard to suggest. But this guy, yes, he just about slips down, which is what we need. If he would have stayed there, probably would have failed. But we still need a bit of luck on this final shot. So our second one, and all we really have to do, it's kind of hard to kill off these 2 when they're slightly far apart, but really you're just kind of looking to kill everyone, just get the straightest line possible. I might be bringing this slightly further this way. It's kind of hard to know where to position exactly, and we kind of just need to hope anyone that survives ends up being near somebody that's dying. Otherwise, we're taking a third turn. It looks like we're going to get some survivors, unfortunately. In fact, almost everyone is surviving. If there are this many survivors, you might as well do a third airstrike where it will be slower. So I'll just try from the beginning again, just once. If I can't get it in the tutorial, there is just individual levels which do this exact same thing. And I'll just point you to them. But I'll give it one more try. So this is part of the risk of trying the two-turn. No. So immediately he did not form the group. And it's, yeah, after you've done all that work, it would be kind of annoying to have a bit of, to rely on a lot of luck in a way for this mission. Okay, we sort of have a line. Not sure the right pigs end up in the right positions, but this looks like it can work. And we'll see how our luck is this time. It looks potentially better. That guy looks like he's not near anyone, unfortunately. Hopefully somebody else goes near him. No, maybe not. Two survivors. 1 on 40. We could risk an airburst or we could do an airstrike here. When they're that far away, it's almost full power. So I'll just save state and try the airburst. So this is the problem with the two-turner. If we don't get it, okay, that's definitely not going to do 40. But I made a save state just in case. So we just want to try. Trouble is, I don't want to hit those trees. So it's kind of hard. So I need to both angle this down and maybe walk back. Which one was on 40? I think one's... yeah. That's enough of this tutorial. Probably go for the three-turner. Unless you really figure out the two-turner. Okay, mission 25. And hopefully the easiest mission. For this, I'm just going to essentially do two strats which rely on the same lineup. In my current record, I promote Commando and put it first, but after some analysis, I realized the amount of time it takes to promote that pig kind of undoes any of the time save you get from that strat. So first things first, all I'll need to do is put one of the saboteurs in second place and then go into the mission. Now we can do one of two things. I'll first explain the super simple thing that I've been doing in any percent all the time, which is we spawn in here once we've got 3 heroes and 2 saboteurs. All I can do is do four straight down presses in the menu to equip special ops, navigate all the way over to the pillbox and essentially roughly get the center. Now we can do the special ops using this setup here because we spawned in this position. If I was to spawn in a slightly different position, I wouldn't do the special ops. Every other pig can get up onto this pillbox faster with a jetpack and then skip turn. But to walk all the way along here, jetpack up and skip turn, it's almost the exact same time as just doing the special ops. The other thing to note is, if we was in a different position, is the center of this like airstrike and special ops marker isn't always the center. It's kind of if you're from a different perspective pig, the center can sometimes be offset, but with this particular lineup it is. So all we have to do is get it in the center as as close as possible. Then our pig should land in the center. We don't have to adjust our position whilst we're dropping down. Simple. This pig hops out, falls down here, and then the finishing blow is just walk down here, angle our super shotgun up a tiny bit, and essentially shoot this guy straight towards the cliff. We want as straight as shot as possible, but we can be slightly angled to either side. If we do go too far over, it'll essentially be a failure as the guy will slip off. So I'll just put a save state here, and boom, mission complete. As I showed to the side, you can be angled to the side and it will still work, but eventually he will, well, it's actually probably the other way. If you're facing more the other way, he'll, oh, wrong button, potentially slip up. But it's really hard not to fail this. So that was the failure. You don't want to face too far that way. You also, I don't think you want it at the default angle. Otherwise, oh, okay, maybe it just works. But I would angle this up. I wouldn't angle this too far up because you're never going to get him all the way out of bounds, and it's literally slower. And you might shoot over the top of his head. Either way, kind of hard to mess up this shot. The only thing to be wary of is when Izzy kind of lands where my pig is right now, you'll only be able to get in this far down, and then you just want to kind of not angle the super shotgun up as much. But now, a slightly alternative strat with a slight amount more risk is to do the jetpack, but from a distance. So I'm going to walk down here, and in a moment I'm going to essentially stand on this circle. It's kind of hard to see. It's easier to see once you've equipped the jetpack, but I want to stand on this particular circle, and yeah, it is kind of hard to set up. So if you just want to do the spec ops, that's nice and safe. But if we want to just gain essentially 2 extra seconds, we're going to try just crashing our jetpack into the center of this pillbox. All we need to do is essentially line up so we're facing this side of the pillbox. If you face too far in this direction, you'll shoot off way to the side. So you essentially have to look to this side of the pillbox. It looks like you're about to miss the center, but don't worry. So that's from that particular circle. Line up like the gun or that left side and just press X. And hopefully you end up in the center. We're slightly off, but okay, that's what we don't really want, but I'll try to do a backup. If this happens, you can. This is right next to the slippery trial. The problem with this is you kind of need to aim for the nose to get him up there. That almost missed, but you can recover as long as you hit some of the shots. But I'm going to try to do the actual strat, which is to crash into the center of the pillbox, which is why it might just be easy to do spec up, seeing as I've just shown it almost failing. But hopefully we can get the center this time, and we're off to the side again. Or are we? Yes. So I need to find the exact position, but you kind of get the idea. Maybe I just need to be further back from this spot to stop going too far forwards. Now we're right up front. So this is not going well for the tutorial. And maybe it's just, this is why you should just do the Spec Ops. It's almost the same time, really. But I do want to get it working at least once in the tutorial. So I will try again. I'm not sure if there is maybe some inconsistency anyway with this. There we go, that's kind of what we want. And then we'd do the same. Just drop down, fire into all, and that's mission complete. Okay, that's everything. Good luck with the Grand Prix, and I'll see you in the races, hopefully.